Welcome to the Scarlet, Blue, and You podcast. I'm Lauren Youse, your Scarlet, Blue, and You host and the HLGU Alumni Director. I'm coming to you from the Burt Studio on the beautiful HLGU campus. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm very excited because we have on our new president, Dr. Robert Matz, as my guest. Welcome, Dr. Matz.
Well, thank you, Lauren, and thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here on the Scarlet, Blue, and You podcast.
Isn't that a great title?
It is wonderful. I can't think of a better title.
It's so fun. All right, so, we've all seen some interviews. You are not new to campus, so we know you a little bit, but I think we want to know you a little bit more.
Well, let's do it.
All right, so let's just start off. Tell me about yourself, and I can give you lead-ins, or you can just go.
Sure. My name is Robert Matz. What are you looking for here, Lord? Give me some lead-ins.
Where were you born?
Oh, I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt Hospital. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Perfect. And did you stay in Nashville for a while?
Actually, my family moved away from Nashville when I was 2, and we grew up all over the South. My dad worked for Bell South, and so we moved to Birmingham, Alabama when I was 2. We moved to Jackson, Mississippi when I was 5. We moved to Atlanta when I was 8, and then grew up primarily in Atlanta.
Okay.
And then went back to college in Nashville.
Very nice. Okay, and talking about college, what is your educational background?
Sure, thanks for asking. As I said, I went to college in Nashville, went to Vanderbilt University there, actually studied engineering, met my wife there, and then was called into the ministry while we were there, and went to Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth, Texas, and was out there for about 3 years, and then did my Master of Divinity there, then did a doctorate at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, and then moved to take a position at Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary after the doctorate.
Excellent. So, most of your education seems pretty par for course, except for that engineering degree.
Yes.
That seems a little special.
Sure. So when I went to college to do engineering, my hope in that was I was fine at math and science, thought that'd be a good thing to do. My parents encouraged me, you can always have a job if you're an engineer. Mm-hmm. So very practical there. But what was going on was the Lord was calling me into ministry. My intent at the time had been to do engineering and then to use that to do patent law. So you know how things work, and then go be a lawyer that sues everybody for violating one another's patents on how things work.
Not following the rules.
And so that was my hope.
Okay.
I wanted to be a patent lawyer, which really sounds very boring right now, but I praise God for patent lawyers. I'm sure they have a
important
great
job.
Yes, absolutely. And they do a great job protecting intellectual property. And yet I'm very grateful for the fact that the Lord had a different plan for me and put me on the path that we're on now.
All right. Well, speaking about the Lord's plan, would you mind sharing your salvation story?
Absolutely.
It can be the short or long version.
Sure.
Whichever one you
I'd
want.
love to share it. As I think back over my salvation story, the first event that really sticks out in my life was I was 5 years old. My family had just moved to Jackson, Mississippi. We were in a rental house, and it was, to a 5-year-old, the middle of the night. It might have actually been 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, but I was 5 years old. And as a 5-year-old, I remember there at what felt like the middle of the night, waking up in the middle of the night, and I was in tears. I was sobbing because I did not know what would happen to me when I died.
Oh.
And so I went out and found my parents, and they were still sitting in the living room. I think they were watching television. And I came out in tears and just told them, I'm so scared of what will happen to me when I die. And my dad shared the gospel with me and prayed with me. But, I was still only 5 years old.
Right.
I'm not sure it quite took at that point. But then when I was 8 years old, July the 2nd, 1991. Actually, I would have been 9 years old then. So I was there, and my dad came home, middle of the summer. My dad came home from work, and didn't know why he was home. It was lunchtime. He never came home during lunch breaks over the summer, but there he was. And he said, Robert, there's something really important we need to talk about. And he had there in our living room a Steps to Peace with God tract from the Billy Graham Association and a New Testament. And he just began to walk me through that Steps to Peace with God tract. And at 8 years old, I came to understand as that tract walked it through, that I was a sinner, and that in my sin I was separated from God. And that on my own, there's a little graph or little picture in that of man on one side, God on the other, and there's this hole between them. And that no matter what good things I did, good works I did, those weren't sufficient to get me to God, that each one of those only got you partially over that chasm. But the good news is that God made a way for us to come to him. He sent his son Jesus to die on the cross, to take the penalty for our sins, and that he rose from the dead to give us new life. And there's that little picture there in the track of the cross providing the bridge from one side, from where we are in our sin, to God and his holy standard. We can't bridge that gap on our own, but Jesus did it for us. And if we trust in Jesus, we give our life to him, we have new life in him. And so as an 8-year-old boy or 9-year-old boy, my father led me to Christ through that track. And I was baptized. We were living in Jackson, Mississippi. I was baptized at our local Baptist church at the Sunday evening service. That following Sunday, I believe it was either a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. And so that's how I came to know Christ. My dad introduced me to Christ, and I'm so grateful for him. And I think there's a lesson in that for all parents about the impact you can have in your children's lives in pointing to them to what is of eternal significance. Now, as is the case with so many teenagers, I had periods of doubt, periods where I didn't walk as closely with Jesus. And yet I am so grateful for the fact that Jesus saved me, and those he saves, he does not let go of. And so about halfway through college, I'd actually gone through a really tough breakup with a girl, but realized in that season that Jesus was all I ultimately had. He was my everything. And in that season, realized that the career I was pursuing wasn't to pursue it in a way that honored the Lord, but to pursue it for myself. And that was ultimately empty, and that was ultimately vapid. And so as a result, about halfway through my sophomore year of college, I responded to what I would understand as a call to the gospel ministry, to dedicate my life to sharing the gospel, to spreading the gospel, and seeing that applied in the lives of as many people as the Lord would allow me and give me the opportunity to do that with. And so very grateful for that. And then met Jessica my junior year there, but she was just a freshman at that point. I was a junior. She was a freshman. She actually had a boyfriend back home.
Oh, my goodness.
We called it a hometown honey. I had my eye on her, but she wasn't.
You were not on her radar?
I was not on her radar yet, but we were both in the Baptist Collegiate Ministry there at the campus we were attending. And so she ended up dumping her hometown honey. I'm very grateful for that in between her freshman and sophomore year. And she got back from summer break and saw her and asked her out almost immediately at that point. And then we went on our first date, and then the rest is history.
Nice.
And so we dated for about a year, got engaged, and then were married about 9 months later. And so we met there through the Baptist Collegiate Ministry at Vanderbilt.
Great. And you have a family.
I do.
A lovely little family.
Yes.
Tell us about your kids.
Absolutely. We have 3 kids. Andrew, who, if you meet him, you go, "Are you sure?" Because he's like 6'2" and I'm 5'6". But my brother-in-law is 6'4". My sister is 5'8". Both my wife and I are the runts of our family. And so he's 13 now. He is a wonderful young man, and we're so proud of the young man he's becoming. Loves soccer. He's playing basketball right now. Really good at math. Loves doing math. Which is an odd thing to say, but he really loves his mathematics. And then a daughter, Catherine, Katie is what she goes by. She's 11 right now in 6th grade. She loves to swim. She's on the Hannibal Hurricane swim team here in town and is having a blast doing that. And they're both involved in the youth group at our church at Emmanuel Baptist here in town. And then our youngest is Jonathan. He's just turned 9, and he is in 3rd grade. And he's just a ball of energy. He is so much fun. He loves a good game. He's doing some rec league basketball right now, but just a lot of fun. Just finished up rec league, YMCA league football with him, and he's a lot of energy.
Oh, that's nice. And what about pets?
We have, when we moved here, we had a beagle. But it seems like our pets keep multiplying.
Oh.
Our beagle was 14, so she's gone to doggy heaven now. But we do have 3 pets right now.
They did multiply.
Yes, they did. We have Daisy, who is a miniature golden doodle. She's 1 year old, and she is a lot. She kind of looks like a white teddy bear. She's very snuggly, very cuddly. But a lot of energy. She'll jump over our couch like full over the whole thing, like she's jumping hurdles or something. So lots of energy with our mini golden doodle. And then we also have a dwarf hamster.
A dwarf hamster.
It's my daughter's hamster. The hamster's name is McGonagall.
Nice.
And so we're McGonagall is there, and named after Professor McGonagall from the Harry Potter novels. My daughter loves the Harry Potter novels. I think she's read through the whole series like 6 times at this point. Last time she read through them, I think she read through them in like 2 weeks.
Oh, my
She's
goodness.
a voracious reader.
That is not doing much else.
No. Well, she reads very, very, very fast as well. And so we'll at least get her out to eat food.
Yeah, good.
We're like, you already know what happens. You've read it 6 times. Come on. But she reads it, I think she reads the whole series once every 6 or 7 months or something at this point.
I thought I was good. I read about once every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and she's reading lots of other books too, and so she's
hard to give up your favorites. So how big is a dwarf hamster?
Oh, it's little. Probably weighs
like mouse size.
Yes. I mean, it's little and it's snow white. And then the other day, my youngest Jonathan, he's had his eye on a lizard. What are they called?
Bearded dragon.
Yes, he's been saving up for a bearded dragon. But we really had no interest in owning a bearded dragon. But one of our friends from the cross country team, Andrew's on. He's 14, and he learned that Jonathan wanted a bearded dragon. And he said, I have this lizard. Well, what type of lizard it is? It only lives on like one little island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And I'm trying to remember what type of lizard this thing is. But he says, I don't want it anymore. And so he gave it to Jonathan.
A new home.
And so we have this lizard now that's there that has to live between 75 between 70 and 80% humidity, and its temperature has to be between 75 and 80 degrees.
Oh no!
And it only eats bugs sprinkled with protein onto them. I've never heard of such a thing. It's such
kind of high maintenance.
Yes,
lizard.
It's a very high maintenance lizard. And so, but now we have a lizard that lives. The lizard's name was Charlie, but he's renamed the lizard Link, as in Link from The Legend of Zelda.
Nice.
And so we have a lizard named Link. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Now we're going to get into the more interesting questions.
Oh, okay.
Those were the softballs.
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. So what career did you want to pursue in kindergarten?
In kindergarten, I really wanted to be a pilot. I thought pilots were the coolest thing in the whole world. I wanted to be an airplane pilot. And then I realized we went to the beach one time and we stayed in a condominium, and we were up on like the 10th floor. And I was terrified of heights. And so that kind of ended the whole...
I was going to ask you if you'd been in a plane before.
Yeah, I'd been in a plane, but for whatever reason, it did not register that we were way up in the air. And so I was terrified of heights, and that kind of ended the desire to be a pilot.
That dream was over. Nice. All right. Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
Oh,
dogs.
I was going to say there's a wrong answer, and you said it. So.
Well, no. Cats. Ugh. Now, my wife would probably prefer cats, but both my oldest son and I are allergic to cats.
Oh,
so that rules it out. And then, I mean, cats look at you and they're like, I'll tolerate you maybe every other week. Dogs, they adore you.
They hurdle over the couch to get
yes,
to you.
Absolutely. So give me a dog.
I will say, when I walk into my door, my cats are all right there. Like, Mom, we're glad you're home.
How many cats do you have, Lauren?
We can't say that on the show.
Okay.
That's for the inner circle.
I'm really curious now.
We'll talk after.
I'm really, really curious.
Okay, we're going to move on. What's one of your favorite fiction books?
I've got a lot. I just finished the entire Wheel of Time series. It took me 2 years. That was a really enjoyable read. It really came full circle very well. That's not meant to be a wheel pun,
Yeah.
but there it is. But really, probably my all-time favorites are either Tolkien or Lewis. I really, really enjoy the Lord of the Rings series, and I really enjoy the Chronicles of Narnia. Those are just delightful series, and they point to such great truths, as all great stories do. You know, every great story, I think it's Lewis who said it, is a great story because it points us to the ultimate story, and that gospel story that is there. So I'm big fans of Lewis and Tolkien, as I think many of us on this campus probably are.
It's a popular answer. It's true. What about nonfiction?
You know, I've been reading a lot recently. I've really started to enjoy David McCullough's historical books. Currently, I'm about halfway through 1776, really enjoying that, and so looking forward to reading more of his works. Also really find it very, very fascinating to read about Churchill. I think he's just a fascinating figure to read about.
And sometimes famous figures, I'm like, I think they're interesting, but I would not want to be their friend. I think I could be Churchill's friend.
Oh, I don't know. He's quite an eccentric character, but you've got to admire his stamina and his grit.
And his baths. And,
yes.
Famous for some of that stuff.
He is quite a character.
All right. What's the most ridiculous fact that you know? Right off the top of your head.
I know. I've been thinking about this. What is the most ridiculous fact that I know?
Probably something from 1776. That's ridiculous.
You know, there's not really that much that has caught me off guard in 1776. I'm just trying to think out loud here about. You know, Lauren, I'm still struggling. I know so many facts.
You know too many.
And they just all, I don't know about that, but that they just all seem normal at this point.
Gotcha.
You know, here's one that surprised me, so I'll get a little serious for a second. I mentioned this the other day in the convention, at the Missouri Baptist Convention, that I learned just the other day, but that in many secular universities now, in some fields of study, the ratio of folks who would be like-minded to what we believe here at Hannibal-LaGrange to other universities, or to those who would be hostile to that. So, for example, like a conservative worldview versus a liberal worldview, that those ratios are now standing at 1 conservative for every 60 liberals in the faculties there, and just how hostile that just strikes me as absurd. I mean,
and you're like, why did that one stay?
Yeah, well, that.
Yeah.
But just how hostile those environments have grown to places or to a worldview like the one shared by so many of us here at Hannibal-LaGrange.
Yep. That's why this is a great place for us.
Absolutely. I think
for
it's
everyone,
a great place
right?
for everybody.
I would agree.
But just such a surprising element there of how little tolerance there is for viewpoints besides their
how
own.
skewed it is, for sure. All right, favorite color.
Favorite color, blue. Always has been blue. I think blue is a wonderful color. I have a new second favorite color. It is scarlet.
Perfect.
And so scarlet and blue, or we'll go blue and scarlet.
In the proper order. I love it. Okay, if you could have any superhero power, what would it be and why?
You know, I've always just thought flying is cool. I don't know why, because I'm scared of heights. But I think that is just so cool. Other than that, you know, like super strength would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
Absolutely.
Like Samson.
Yes.
Okay, favorite food.
Favorite food. Like my favorite candy, I really like Skittles.
Oh, good to know.
And then gummy bears are right after that. But that's not really a favorite food. A really good steak.
Okay.
Oh, man, I love a really good steak.
How do you like it prepared?
Medium rare.
Okay.
Medium rare. Sometimes, you know, there's a restaurant called Houston's that I don't think exists anymore or has largely closed, but they had a Hawaiian ribeye there that they would marinate for 3 days in pineapple and teriyaki sauce. It was phenomenal.
That sounds good.
Really, really good.
I enjoy those flavors. Okay. What about your favorite Bible story or Bible verse?
Well, we'll go with, I've always really liked the story of Jonah. I think it is
really?
Yes, I love the story of Jonah because I think it is just such and most of us, I think, miss the point of the story of Jonah. It is not a story about God delivering Jonah from a fish. Mm-hmm. It is not even a story about Jonah's the people of Nineveh's repentance
It's about Jonah.
Jonah's message. I think the true story is it's a story about God, and it's a story about God's loving kindness. Chapter 4, verse 2, I think, is the key to the whole book of Jonah. And it's Jonah hurling an accusation at God, saying, "When didn't I know that when you sent me to Nineveh, that you because I didn't want to go because you are abounding in loving kindness, slow to anger, compassionate." It's a story about God's character and how Jonah himself wanted that loving kindness, wanted to be delivered from the fish.
Right.
And how we saw the sailors in chapter 1 be delivered, and then Nineveh in chapter 3 be delivered. But how he wanted it for himself, but he didn't want it for others.
Right.
But it is such a compelling picture of God's character in his loving kindness to us, even when we're awful towards him.
Okay. I'll have to think of different perspective next time I am in Jonah.
Yes.
Because because I'm always just mad at Jonah.
Yeah, I'm mad at Jonah too.
Come on, why don't you want these people to go to heaven?
Yeah, it's a story about God and what God is offering. And it's a message to us. I mean, it's how the book closes, right? Chapter 4, verse 10, where God says to him, "Shouldn't I have compassion on the 120,000 who don't know their right from their left, so children, and all the animals as well?" And it's a picture of God's loving kindness, his mercy, his grace to everyone,
despite
that if they'll respond to him.
Nice.
And it's a lesson to myself to show the same to others.
Okay. I like that. Okay. What about your favorite family vacation?
As I reflect on it, fall of 20. So the pandemic is still ongoing. I was on a teaching sabbatical that semester. I still had administrative responsibilities for the school I was serving at that point. But my family and I got away, and we went to Sanibel Island. And it was off season, so we were able to rent it for a condo on Sanibel for a couple weeks.
Lovely.
And it was so much fun. Just going out on the beach. And I spent half the vacation still doing work.
Sure.
Because that's just the nature of it. But it was so much fun going up and down the beach while it was really quiet and there weren't that many people there, going to the ice cream shop. It was such a delightful vacation, and one that I think our family will reflect on. We rented bikes and rode bikes all over the island. It was just wonderful.
That does sound nice. Okay, how about hobbies? Do you have any?
Not really.
Sounds like you read a lot.
Working at Hannibal-LaGrange University is a big one. I actually just read in the evenings. Okay. That's my primary time to read, is reading during the evenings. Normally before I go to bed, I'll read for about half an hour. But then as well, when I get a chance, I love to play golf. It's a lot of fun. I don't seem to get a chance very often, but that's a fun activity for me as well.
Okay. Do you frisbee golf?
I am trying. You're
branching out.
I need someone like Todd DeMott to give me lessons
give
or
you some
something.
Tips.
Because I'm not very good. I
haven't even tried it, so you're ahead of me.
I throw the frisbee. It goes like 30 yards. I feel like a failure.
Does it go the direction you want it to go, though?
Sometimes 50-50.
That's pretty good.
Half the time it goes off to the right, goes off to the left. And so, but I've been trying, especially since we have this great new Frisbee golf course here on campus.
We have a beautiful course. I feel kind of guilty, too. Like, I need to get out there. All right. How about favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? I mean, who doesn't love Christmas?
Right.
I mean, Christmas is so great. And it's great in a different way now. As a kid, it's opening the presents. Now it's restraining my children as all of them get up to keep them from running in. It is so much fun making them wait.
Nice.
But then it's even more fun to see the look on their face as they open the gifts that are there and so forth. So love Christmas.
Yes, and speaking of holidays, Thanksgiving is kind of right around the corner. Do you have any special traditions? Are you in charge of the turkey?
No. I am a hopeless case when it comes to the kitchen.
Okay.
I can do the grill okay, but if it's in the oven, I think I've burnt the store-bought cinnamon rolls that you just stick in the pan and leave them in there for 10 minutes and they rise.
10 minutes was too long.
I forget about them every time they're in there. And so the last 5 times I've attempted to cook them, I think I've only successfully gotten them out 2 times.
Okay.
One time they were nearly on fire.
Oh.
And so just left them in there way, way too long. So you don't want me cooking.
No kitchen duty. Okay.
I clean the dishes. And there's a specific way you load the dishwasher. I'm very... No.
Are you like Tetris?
Yes, I love seeing how much can you get in there and it still get clean.
I'm with you on that. All right. Here's kind of a bonus question that somebody called in. What's something that people may not know about you?
Well, I may try to work this into a sermon at some point, but I don't think I've ever told the story about how I got banned from Northwest Airlines for a year.
A year?
I'm not going to share any more than
that.
I'll just leave it at
that's
that.
For another time, but that's
intriguing. I was 12
intriguing.
years old.
12? I didn't know they banned 12-year-olds.
I was 12
years old.
That seems
harsh. Man.
Oh, I deserved it. Totally deserved it.
Oh, yeah, they didn't give you the little wings from the pilot.
No, I had the wings on when it happened.
Oh, okay. The story's getting more interesting. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Dr. Matz. That was really fun. And another great way to meet you is going to be at the Booster Gala.
Absolutely.
Because you are actually our guest speaker, our keynote. And that's going to be Saturday, November 12th. And you're going to do a meet and greet. And your family's all going to be there. Which is great.
Yes, we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and H&B Bank is our sponsor. We're so thankful for them. And Amanda Henry's going to be there signing her brand new novel that I'm 50 pages in, and it's fantastic.
It really is.
Yeah, it's really so impressive. Like, I just keep seeing her in my mind's eye, like sitting at a desk and writing this terrific book. And this is fantastic. So she's going to be here with books and signing. We're going to have live music from Alyssa Pine in the music department. The art gallery is full of gorgeous art pieces by a local artist. We're having really good food. Did I tell you about the food?
Tell me about the food.
So
I've
it's
heard
heavy
rumors.
appetizers.
Okay.
So it's not like a sit-down meal.
Okay.
But you're going to get full because the food sounds great.
So you
We're
can
gonna
make a
have
dinner of it.
A charcuterie board. Did I say it right? That sounded right. Sometimes I say it
I
a
think
little
we'll
wrong.
go
The
with
meat and cheese and all the fixings. And there's going to be a chef there that's actually like slicing off the meat for like make your own sliders.
So this is like a real dinner.
It's like you're going to get like your meat and your sides and
if someone gets tired, there is a place for them to sit.
Oh, there are so many seats.
Okay,
yes.
so
and tables and so you don't have to eat in your lap if you don't want to. But if you want to, you totally can. And then we're also doing our Alumni Awards, which is something new for Booster Banquet. So distinguished alumni, we're having Brett and Mindy Ackright, which I believe you know.
I think the world of the Ackrights. That is such a great selection.
Actually, you know all of our people. The outstanding young alum is Josh Pierce, who just recently left us, but is coming back.
He is coming back, and I mean, Gala. Josh is one of the most industrious, hardest working individuals I've ever met. I am so grateful.
Keeps cool.
Yes,
I love that.
He is unflappable.
He really is.
Is it unflappable or inflappable?
Ooh.
I don't know. But you cannot get to Josh Pierce. Mm-hmm. He is cool under pressure.
He is. He's fantastic. And then the outstanding service are actually my parents, Jim and Linda Youse.
And they
for all the fun stuff that I make them do.
Well deserved.
No, they have great servant hearts, and I'm excited to give them that award. So you really don't want to miss our Booster Gala on Saturday, November 12th. The appetizers and fellowships going to begin at 5:30 in the Roland Fine Arts Center lobby. And then at 7, we're going to move into the theater where there's great seats and beautiful sound and lighting. And Abaya, our friend who helps with the podcast, is in charge of all that.
It's going to look and sound great.
It is. It's going to be a really fun, fantastic evening. A great way to support Hannibal-LaGrange. Tickets are only $35, so you get a great meal, a great evening of fun. And you can get those on our website at www.hlg.edu/Booster Gala, or you can call my office at 573-629-3124. And Booster Gala is actually just part of the weekend. It's actually homecoming.
Oh, wow. It's going to be so much fun.
We're putting it all in one weekend so that if you get a hotel room, it is worth the cost because we're going to keep you busy. We have the 50-year club lunch first thing on Friday, November 11th at 11 o'clock, and that's going to be in the Fine Arts Center honoring the class of 1972.
Wow.
So we'll have them here. And then our Disc Glow golf tournament is the same day, Friday, November 11th. 2 rounds. First round's just a regular round in the daylight. Second round is a glow round, which sounds pretty exciting.
That does sound intense.
I'm thinking if you take the glow part off and you throw it wild, nobody will even know. So, and then on Saturday, we have alumni basketball games, Trojan games. We also have a sponsor. The Answers in Genesis people are going to do free popcorn for the first 200 people.
That's wonderful.
Come on out, free Trojan basketball, and then Booster Gala that evening. So it's going to be a really fun special weekend. You can see a full list at the full schedule at www.hlg.edu/homecoming. Well, Dr. Matz, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren, and
I'm
thank
glad
you for
that
having me
God
on.
has brought you and your family here.
Well, we're
I'm excited
grateful
to see
be here.
what is going to happen over the next few years. All right, thank you for listening to the Scarlet, Blue, and You podcast. Remember, keep a song in your heart, preferably the HLGU alma mater, and Hannibal-LaGrange in your mind.